You know, before I get into the meat of this video, there's a few things that I need to say up front that will, of course, serve as the intro to this masterpiece. And, of course, you have seen the title. Now, this weekend's Rabbit Hole production is going to be dealing with a photo of which I'm going to share with y'all later on in the video. And I'm going to explain it to y'all as the video goes on so you can understand what exactly you're requesting when you request this weekend's Rabbit Hole production. After you see the photo, you will understand why we must deal with it in the hole. It's a photo. Well, I'm not going to even get into it. We'll deal with it in a minute because there's some perfunctory that I got to give y'all first. Because I've been seeing and I've been hearing this chatter on social media surrounding this mythology and this propaganda that's being pushed by black women and some black men. That would seem to suggest black men are somehow jealous or envious when they see a black woman with a white man, or hear a black woman talking about she's going to level up, she hashtag divested, and all this other crap. They push the propaganda that black men are jealous. And since I've told y'all in many of my videos, if y'all didn't use black men as a justification for y'all's worshiping of white men, y'all wouldn't even hear from me on this subject, because at the end of the day, I really don't care. I'm the guy who believes that the majority of y'all should be classified and labeled as mental disorders. I'm the guy that if you're butt naked in a bed and put next to your box of cigars and give me the option, 10 times out of 10, I'm taking the sticks. That's me. So at the end of the day, I care less about who you're dating, who you're married to, who you're sleeping with. It matters not to me. The only reason why you will hear from me on this topic is to push back against the propaganda, because it is incumbent upon me as being a black male to push back against this bullshit. And suggesting that black men are somehow jealous or envious of this is completely insane. And I'm going to prove it to you in this video. But before we get to the photo, let me say this, because you have to understand this. See, the key component to these Negro women talking about they want to level up, they want to hashtag divest, they want to burn the cape, black woman stay home, and all this other crap that they talk. The key component in that is that they believe that this rhetoric upsets black men. This is what they believe. They believe that if I tell black men that I want to hashtag divest from the black community, if I want to level up from him, if I want to choose character over color, I want the best man for the job, all this other stuff that we all have dealt with in the past, these are all knocks on black men, then this would bother black men. This is what they want. This is what they seem to believe. This is the propaganda that they push. So the key component in them talking about they want to divest is that this bothers black men. That's the reason why they push the propaganda that we are jealous when they talk this crap. See, I'll give you a football analogy. Y'all know I'm love Pittsburgh Steelers fanatic, so I'm going to use my Steelers. See, in order for an offense to successfully run a play-action pass, what's the key ingredient to a play-action pass? Running the football. I mean, if you can't run the football, then trying to attempt a play-action pass means nothing. Why? Because if you can run the football, and every time you hand the football off to your running back, he's getting 6 or 7 yards, then what's going to happen is your linebackers, when you snap the football the next time, your linebackers are going to be frozen. Why? Because they're going to be looking to run support, stop the run. Your safety is going to be looking in the backfield for what? Run support. And while you have the linebackers frozen, you have the safety frozen, your wide receivers can then do what? Stretch the field, get down the field. So you fake the ball to the running back who's been getting 5 or 6 yards a pop. The linebackers are frozen. The safety is frozen. You have one-on-one coverage on the outside. You can then stretch the field or probably score. But the key component in the play-action pass is the ability to run the football. What am I saying? Leveling up means nothing if black men are not bothered by it. This swirling means nothing if it doesn't bother black men. This is the reason why the key ingredient in all of that is what? The jealous black male. We have to be jealous. They have to have a problem that I'm leveling up, that I'm swirling. Even though we've told them time after time after time after time, we don't care. We don't care. But yet and still they want to push that propaganda. They want to push that propaganda that black men somehow are in their feelings. You read the comment threads on some of these posts that I see on in y'all's Negro sector of YouTube. And I'm reading the comments, and the women in the comment thread, oh yeah, black men are jealous and black men are scared that we divesting and leveling up. And I'm sitting there and I'm laughing. I'm like, where, who, where, what black male? I mean, you may have some pro-blacks. And I don't really even think you can take that serious, because the pro-black, he'll sleep with a white woman in a drop of a hat. So he'll give you lip service that he's concerned. But at the end of the day, he's not even really concerned. He's chasing behind that white woman just like you chasing behind that white man. What have I told y'all? I mean, how many times do I have to say this? You would have to conduct a 40-yard dash between the black male and the black female to see who loves whitey more. And I told y'all, it's going to be neck and neck. It's going to be a photo finish. And that's a great segue. Speaking of photos, let's deal with the photo that I'm going to deal with in the hole. Now, I have a war chest full of this stuff. I mean, I have a war chest full of it. And when this photo first came across my desk, I put it in my war chest. I said, I need this. Because y'all know how I feel about that white liberal. But I don't want to deal with the white liberal right now. There's a lot in that. I could do a lot of videos off of this photo in and of itself. But I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with the Black Lives Matter piece. I don't want to deal with the white liberal piece. I don't want to deal with, all the money that they raise. All that. I don't want to deal with that right now. I only want to deal with this white woman who you see in the center of this photo, with the circle around the sign that she's carrying. Now, I'm going to blow that sign up. You might be able to read it, but I'm going to blow it up so you can truly read it and what she's saying. See, this is why I'm telling y'all it's a myth. And I know y'all wondering, well, wait a minute, man. What? I'm confused. I know you are. See, y'all know I'm a fan of Alice in Wonderland, obviously. I mean, the Rabbit Hole production. I mean, come on. So, I mean, I remember reading Alice in Wonderland as a child. I mean, my parents had a bookshelf, and whenever we were on punishment, couldn't go outside, and we stuck in the house, we can't go out, we done something, we can't go out and play. Hey, our parents would tell us, look, you sit your ass down and read one of those books, read a book. You couldn't watch TV, you couldn't watch cartoons, you can't go outside. So you stuck. So, man, hell, I might as well read this book. So, I mean, that's where I read Alice in Wonderland, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I mean, that's where I read that stuff. So I fell in love with Alice in Wonderland. But if you read the story, you remember now, after her and her sister are sitting there, we know the whole storyline. She sees the rabbit's talking about he's late. She follows the rabbit down this rabbit hole, blah, 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 blah. We know the whole story. But then she went to the looking glass. And once she went through that looking glass, shit became even more strange. It became even more weird. Backwards. The books that were in the looking glass, the writing was backwards. Everything was upside down. She encountered who? Humpty Dumpty. She bumps into Tweedledum and Tweedledee. The cat who smiles, and when he smiled, he would disappear and nothing but his smile would remain. This is what she's seen in that world. It was a strange world. What am I saying? That's what this shit is. This is weird. The photo in itself is odd. But like I said, that's the political junkie in me. I deal with that later. Focus on this white woman in the center, this young girl in the center. And you might be able to read what her sign says that she's holding. I'm going to blow it up in a minute. Because this is my contention. And this is what I say when, and again, I'm tickling around the corner of the plate here because in the hole, I'm going to deal with it a entirely different way. I'm going to go down straight to the center of the plate with it in the hole. Y'all know that. But this whole myth that black men, you know, they jealous, they mad, they have a problem. No, not at all. Not at all. We don't care. And we've told y'all this. We said, first of all, why should I care that you're talking about, I want a white man? Why should that bother me? That's like somebody saying, I want to eat steak for dinner. Okay, whatever, get your steak then. Shit. But see, the person who says, I want a steak for dinner, they can go get a steak for dinner. Whether they go get it, put it on the grill themselves, cook it themselves, they can go get that steak. But now the black woman who says, I want a white man, she can't go get no white man. That's the reason why none of them have him. So why in the world should I care about your words? Because that's all they are. There's no evidence that you can do this. Why? Because we don't see one. We don't see him. We hear you saying it, but we don't see a physical white man standing next to you. And y'all remember back during the holidays when I did my holiday challenge. And I told them sisters, listen, if y'all can produce a video with you and a white man kissing under the mistletoe, unwrapping gifts, sucking on eggnog, making cookies, listen, I will shut this channel down and I'll shut down that rabbit hole. I'll be done. Y'all won't hear from me. Obviously, nobody could produce that video. Why? Because it's all talk. It's rhetoric. So why in the world should I have a problem with what you say? Again, it's just like hearing somebody say, I want a steak. I'm going to get me a steak. And they can go out and get them a steak. They be chomping on a steak in a matter of hours. But you can't just go out and get you a white man. Because you've been talking about him, but we don't see him. You can't produce him. So now I know y'all wonder, okay, I got that. But now I want you to explain this photo to me. Okay, that's good. Let me explain this photo to y'all. I'm glad y'all asked. And again, the political junkie in me is on the shelf. We're going to put that on the shelf because there's a lot of different ways I can go with this photo. And that's the reason why I put it in my war chest. I put it in my war chest because, this white liberal, man, wow, let me leave that alone because that white liberal, I can talk about that white liberal. I can do a series on the white liberal. But the white girl in the center of the photo, and I circled the sign that she's carrying. And you probably can read it, but if you can't read it, I'm going to blow it up. But what it reads is, don't open your mouth for black dick. And keep it closed on black issues. Now you sit there and you think, you're like, wow, a white girl carrying a sign like that? That's interesting. At a Black Lives Matter protest? That's interesting. And then so you logically would conclude that, well, she must date black men. And if you were to put 100 people in a room and show them this sign, and show them this white woman holding this sign, and ask them, 100 people, who do you think she's talking to? 99 of those 100 people will say she's talking to white women. She's a white female. She says, don't open your mouth for black dick. I guess I could say that I can say dick here. I don't know. Well, let me change that. Scratch that from the record because we're not down in the hole, man. So we YouTube, man. Let's go on and be politically correct. Now, you can open your mouth for a white phallus, a penis, a black penis. But keep it closed on black issues. And the average person who sees that, they would logically conclude that white woman right there deals with brothers, and she's talking to her other white women who are sided on black issues, who don't want to have an opinion on black issues, but yet they deal with brothers too. Now that's fair. That's a fair assessment. But it's my contention, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. This white woman ain't holding that sign talking to white women. She's not. She's not. She's not. See, that's why I told y'all the Alice in Wonderland, the looking glass. Everything is backwards. When you go through that looking glass, black is white, white is black. Up is down, down is up. Everything is backwards. Sour is sweet, sweet is sour. Everything is backwards here, man. And since now we are in the looking glass and we're peering at this white woman hold this sign, nothing is as it appears. So you look at it and you say, okay, she's a white female, she holding a sign, she got to be told, no, people. It is my contention, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that she's talking to black women. Let me take a sip of this, because we're going to have to deal with this in the hole, man. We're going to have to deal with it in the hole. That's a shameless plug for the Rabbit Hole Production. That's the reason why you need to request the Rabbit Hole Production. I'll make it plain to you. And I'll make it plain to you in a way that I can there. Because there it's going to just be unedited, unscripted. It's going to be raw. I'm warning you now. It's going to be raw. It's going to be brutal. That subject is going to be brutal. But let me take a sip of this before I go forward. clip of that because this is going to be rough, and I'm going to try to be nice. Because I know y'all wondering, wait a minute, man. That don't make no sense. You're not making sense, and you only make sense. Okay, let me explain something to you. And I'm going to use 2 examples. And again, like I said, I'm just tickling the corner of the plate. I'm gonna wait to really go into more detail in the whole, where I can just go right down the center and just cut that to the white meat, man. And we can understand it. I'll sit it right in your lap and you'll say, God damn it, I see exactly what you're saying. But we're gonna deal with that in wholes. Here we have to be politically correct. So I'm gonna give you 2 examples as to why I'm suggesting that this white woman is holding that sign, not talking to white women. She's talking to black women. Because remember now, it's black women who said, hashtag black woman stay home. They're the ones who complain that black men are using them as mules. Burn the cape. Y'all remember this stuff? Black women don't protest no more. You know, all of this stuff that the black women have been saying recently has prompted this white woman, who's probably heard this stuff on social media as well. So this white woman comes to this protest and she holds the sign. Don't open your mouth for black phallus, for black penis, but keep it closed for black issues. And 100 people would say she's talking to white women. No, she's talking to black women. You remember Brooklyn Blue? One of the harshest, I would say the harshest, who has the hardest critique of black men. I would say she's the hardest. Cynthia G, not far behind. But I would think, you know, remember now, it was Brooklyn Blue who said, you know, I tell black women that if they're pregnant, they find out they're having a son, abort that motherfucker. That was Brooklyn Blue who said that. I ain't say that. She said that. But then, y'all remember the movie Panther? And I don't remember the guy's name. Y'all know who I'm talking about. The villain in the movie. Who wanted to take over. He wanted to be the head Negro in charge. So he's fighting the star of the movie. Y'all know the guys, and I can't think of his name off the top of my head. But that guy who played the villain in the movie Panther, when that movie came out, I can remember the very same Brooklyn Blue, Kendall St. Charles, on a live stream with one Crystalline Carrison. And they were talking about Panther. And what did Miss Kendall St. Charles say about that brother who starred in Panther? What did she say? Oh, he could get it. Oh, child, he could get, wait a minute now, Brooklyn Blue. Kendall St. Charles, now this is the same sister who said, I tell black women's that if they pregnant and they having a son, abort that motherfucker. That's that Brooklyn Blue, who's now talking about this guy who gets her juices flowing from Panther. And what did she say? Oh, child, he could get it. What could he get, Kendall? What could he get? What could he get from you? You said he could get it. Get what? What is it that you have that if you seen that brother and y'all were alone, one-on-one, it was just y'all two, what is it that you would give him? What is it that he could get from you? And see, we're going to address that in the hole. That's the reason why I'm telling y'all, it has to be in the hole, y'all, because y'all know what I'm talking about. But we're going to address this in the hole. This woman talking to black women. She ain't talking about white women. She's talking about black women. See, this is also why it's a myth that black men are jealous of this alleged, black women. No, 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 no. Because why? Because at the end of the day, if you meet the criteria, I ain't talking about no 6 figures and all that other crap that they talking about now. That ain't the criteria you have to meet. That's the reason why Brooklyn Blue said that dude can get it. Get what? And then the second, likened to the first, is who? Cynthia G. I mean, come on now, stop. I mean, all the rhetoric that Cynthia G says about black men, and who is it that's oh, the hole. If you want the hole, you got to send me an email. I'll send you the link. And, let me leave that on, because I'm going to slip up and say something, and that they can time stamp it and just flag the whole video. So let me leave that alone. But, I mean, Robert Perkins? This white woman is holding this sign. It is my contention on what I'm going to show with y'all, what I'm going to share with y'all in the whole, that she's not talking to white women. See, you got everything is backwards, man. To look at it from face value, you would think, yeah, she's talking to white women. She's a white female. She's at a black rally, a protest, Black Lives Matter. Obviously, she deals with black men. She knows some white women, her fellow colleagues or friends who also deal with black men, but they don't want to have anything to say about these black issues. So she's just telling them, look, don't open your mouth for that and then keep it closed on the issues. No, she ain't talking about white women. She's talking about black women. She's telling this to black women. Because we know, obviously, from what Kendall St. Charles said about that brother in Panther, we know that, well, let me leave it alone. Let me back up, because that's the whole. That's the whole, man. Let me not even go there. Matter of fact, let me end this video, because see, I keep tipping around and I'm gonna slip up. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna deal with this in the whole. We're gonna deal with this photo. And I'm gonna prove to you beyond a shadow of a doubt. Now I know y'all wondering okay, so your argument is that the myth of black men being jealous is because, first of all, black men shouldn't be jealous of words. Well, that's the first thing, because, I mean, we can't be jealous of you being with no white man. You ain't got one. Now, I can understand if you had one. If you was dating one, you talking. That's all you doing. You just telling us that you, that's just rhetoric. That you produce him. Show us your work. And that's the majority of these sisters. And the reason why I constantly tell y'all better him than me is because I know one day he's going to see you for who and what you are. And that's the reason why. And I ain't saying nothing about it, but people been sending me emails. I've been getting a lot of emails on this Crystalline Cares and divorce. And sending me pictures of this new guy that she's supposed to be dating. And I ain't said nothing, but I'm chopping at the bit. You mean to try to tell me that the best man for the job, the man who is character over color, wants out of the marriage? Let me leave that alone, man. Let me leave that alone. Let me make sure this get confirmed first. Oh boy, I tell you the truth, man. I can't make this stuff up, people. I can't make it up. All I can do is just sit it in your lap. That's all I can do. I'm just the mailman. That's all I do. Listen, if you mad because you got a bunch of bills, you made the bills. Hell, I'm just delivering the mail. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. I'm just bringing you what, this is your name, this is your address. I'm just giving you your mail. That's all I'm doing. If you want that video in the whole dealing with this photo and the unedited, unscripted, straight down the center of the plate, harsh, it's going to be harsh, proof that this chick here in this photo is talking to black women. You know what it is, Second Nature Like Breathing. Send me an email, I'll send you the link. Because at the end of the day,